What's up, guys? We're out here with the ducks, but today's video is all about cattle. I'm going to show you how we use natural methods to treat our cattle for some of the most common problems that happen to cows and steers and bulls and everything else. So people are always asking us how we're able to raise our cows naturally and how do we deal with flies, pink eye, scours, and everything else. And we deal with it just like you deal with it, except ours is in natural ways and natural methods. And we're constantly looking to improve those ways and improve those methods to make our cows and cattle, steers, bulls happy and healthy and able to withstand Missouri weather. Because in Missouri, it is hard to keep the flies away, especially here in July. And the ducks are agreeing with me because they're super loud right now. So I thought we would start with flies and how we deal with pink eye. So first off, for flies in general, we do like to use oil treatment for them. So first and foremost, we do regenerative grazing and regenerative farming, so we're constantly rotating the cattle. And so they're not actually sitting in the same fields with their manure all the time. So we'll rotate them around. We've got 144 acres here and it's split into about 8 paddocks. And so we'll rotate them from paddock to paddock to keep them away and ahead of those flies. And so that helps a lot. But when it comes to actually being in the heart of summer and dealing with it, when you know you're going to have flies everywhere, we resort to oil. And so some of the oils we use are, one of them is very well known and of course super cheap, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I tell you. And the other one is not as well known, and you're probably going to have to go out and look it up and find a good resource for it, because it's not one, at least in Missouri, that I can make myself. So first off, we use vegetable oil. Get the cheapest vegetable oil you can find, and you're going to get yourself a mop and a mop bucket, and you're going to fill it up 3/4 of the way full with just pure vegetable oil. No need to get olive oil, it's way more expensive. We just use the vegetable oil. So I have myself a little mop bucket, little mop inside, and you're just gonna fill up the mop bucket with your vegetable oil. Like I said, 3/4 of the way full, 2/3 of the way full, pretty full. And then the second oil that we use to mix with the vegetable oil is called neem oil. And neem oil is from a neem tree, and they don't grow anywhere in the continental United States at all. So we have to purchase neem oil, but it's very natural and good stuff. We don't get the neem oil that's where it's like 3% neem, 97% other ingredients. It's just pure neem oil. And you're going to fill it up the rest of the way with neem oil, mix them around really well, and then whenever you're working your cows and you put them, they're going through the chute and everything, you're going to take your mop, dip it in your oil that's mixed together, and just rub it on their backs. And flies, it's a really simple method for dealing with flies. They don't like to land on them once the oil is on the cows. And if you can do it in a time where it's not going to rain for a while, that's even better, because the oil is going to stay on a lot longer. And we've noticed with just regular fly spray that you normally use for cows, and then with this oil method, the oil method actually lasts a lot longer. And the fly spray, if you've worked cows before, you're going to spray it on one day and the next day you're going to have flies again, right? Our method is just more of a natural way. You don't have to worry about any pesticide being in there or natural ingredients that are going to get into the meat and make it not taste good or be strictly unhealthy or unsafe to eat. So we do it natural and keep it simple. It's just vegetable oil and neem oil. Now, if you're really on a pinch for money, you just don't even add the neem. You just do the vegetable oil and just mop it on them. And that's going to help with keeping the flies from landing on them and things like that. And I think that a lot of farmers will tell you that if you have a cow that has multiple flies and more flies than the other cows, then you likely have like a worming issue going on. And so they'd say, well, you got to deworm your cow or else you're just going to keep getting those flies. Well, we don't really look at it like that. We look at it as we're going to get the cows and the steers and the bulls that are able to withstand our natural methods and not have to be pampered by us. So if we do see a cow that's just really bad, losing weight, constantly has flies all over them, that's a sale barn cow for us. But there are natural ways you can get rid of the worms. So plantain is a really good plant that is a natural dewormer. And so if you can find some plantain around, I'm sure there's some sitting around me right now. Wish I could find some and show you, but if you can find some plantain, broadleaf plantain, black seed broadleaf plantain, you can just give it to them and they'll deworm themselves. So that is a great way for dealing with flies the natural way. So the second issue I want to talk with you about is pink eye. So what happens, right? You have a bunch of flies on you. Your calves now have pink eye. Your cows have pink eye. Maybe a steer or two's got pink eye. What do you do to kick it? Well, in general, there are natural ways to kick pink eye. Some people say you can just let them, just don't do anything, don't treat them at all, and then just they'll eventually get over the pink eye. Well, you could be dealing with a cow that's going to go blind eventually. So that is one method to do that. Isolate the cow by themselves, maybe cover the eye with a patch, and let the body treat the pink eye. Well, if it's gotten too far, or if you feel that you just need to step in and do something, then we resort to colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is something that we make here ourselves on the farm, and you can too. It is very easy to make. You can just buy yourself a colloidal silver machine. I'm actually going to be talking about that, or you can actually make one yourself. I'm going to be doing another video to show you how we make our colloidal silver, because it's pretty pricey if you're not making it yourself. A little bottle like this is not going to get you very far on your cows. So, but what we do is straight colloidal silver. It treats pink eye in humans, animals, all the same. It treats a lot of things. Athlete's foot, cuts and scrapes. There's lots of things you can use colloidal silver to treat. So we put straight, pure colloidal silver, which is just nanoparticles of silver isolated in distilled water. And we put that in a spray bottle, and my husband goes out there and just sprays their eyes with it. And if you get it in there really good and your pink eye case isn't just one that's extremely horrible, it's going to treat it in a day. Now, if you've got them in the chute and you've treated them, and then you've got a really bad case where the eye's sticking out really far, you're going to have to go treat them again. And I recommend putting them back into the chute and treating them that way, because you're going to get a lot more in that eye and be able to get a lot more medicine in there, and it's going to nip it in the bud very quickly. Another thing you can do after you already have your colloidal silver is you can make a colloidal silver gel, or a colloidal silver, almost like a plaster putty, and we make it so you take your colloidal silver after it's been made or after you've purchased some, and then you're going to mix in like a natural thickener. So you can use flour, you can use arrowroot, you can use cornstarch, whatever you have on hand. And you're just going to mix it in there until it creates a thick, almost paste. And then you can, put it on the cow's eye that way, and it's going to stay on a lot longer. Almost like you would do a poultice, if you're familiar with poultices at all. You're going to make a poultice paste and then allow the colloidal silver to get and stay on the cow a lot longer. But it's a very simple method of treating pink eye, and it works very well, like a charm. So it's much better than the stuff you have to go get from the vet, and this is something you can make yourself. Like I said, buy yourself a colloidal silver machine or make one, and we'll do another video on that. But colloidal silver is key for pink eye. So the next one we're going to talk about is going to be scours. So scours in general is a nightmare with young calves, especially when you're calving out in the rainy, muddy season and things like that. So it's a farmer's almost worst nightmare, because then your calf can get dehydrated and then pass on you. And that's not good news at all. But there is a very, very, very simple way to treat that, and that is with apple cider vinegar. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I'm obsessed with apple cider vinegar. You've got to get the kind with the mother. So make sure it says with the mother on there. And apple cider vinegar is your go-to for scours. If you start to see the feces running a little yellow and running and being yellowish, maybe bloody, then you've got scours going on. So give the mom some apple cider vinegar, give it in her water tank, maybe give it into some corn or something if you have to give her it somehow, but usually she'll just take it in her water. And then she'll drink it, it'll get into the calf, and then it nips that scours right in the bud. And you don't have to deal with it, it doesn't become a problem, it just quickly takes care of the issue. It actually rebalances the gut, which is nice. So it rebalances the gut for the mother and then rebalances the gut for the calf. So the problem is not a problem at all anymore. So apple cider vinegar is your number one go-to when it comes to scours. And the last thing I want to talk with you about is just going to be ticks in general. Now, ticks on bovine, not really that big of a deal, but we've all been hearing about Lyme disease a lot more lately, and I think that in general farmers are a bit more concerned about ticks these days than they have been in the past. So I wanted to show you what we use for ticks and how we prevent them from coming, and we treat them on our cattle just like we would treat them on us. So I make my own bug spray. You can see Grand Fam Farm Original here. And I just wanted to show you, some of the ingredients that are in there. It's a really simple mixture to make yourselves. If you have essential oils, we're just going to use distilled water, and then we add oils such as peppermint oil, eucalyptus, lemongrass, lemon, orange peel, orange zest, and then you're just going to mix them all together, and I also throw in some patchouli. So that little combination works fantastically. Watch out for their eyes. It does sting, so make sure you just get it on their back with everything else, and it seems to keep the ticks away very well and works like a charm. So these are just some of our simple methods that we use to treat cows and steers and bulls naturally, so we don't have to resort to going to the vet if we can help it. We don't have to resort to antibiotics, and we can make sure that our herd is healthy, happy, and just living a nice life, rotating around, eating all the grasses they can. So I hope that you look into some of these methods and try to go the natural route for your cows. You're going to see a better taste in your meat. You're going to see a better result in your cow herd. They're going to be able, every year they get better and better. We've had cows that we've treated this way for 3 years, 4 years now, and this year they had like 2 flies on them total ever, the whole time. Right? And then we had brand new cows that came into the herd and they're just covered in flies, and you don't want a pampered cow. If you've got to pamper your cow, it's the wrong cow. So, and same thing with the bull and same thing with the steer. If you're pampering that animal, it's not working for you and it's not making money for you. And the goal of most farms is to make money. And so I would love to hear about if you've tried any of these methods, or if you have other ideas on how to naturally treat your animals for scours, pink eye, or flies in general, ticks and bugs. I'd love to hear about it. This also works great on dogs, the whole family. And yeah, so let us know how it works for you, and good luck and good health.